You're at Exotica 2017, Edison, New Jersey. I'm here with the lovely Brett Rossi. Brett, thank you so much for taking a few minutes of your time with us.
No problem. Thank you.
What's it like coming to this experience here? I mean, you're meeting your fans, meeting your public, though. What's that feeling like? I can only imagine from a fan's perspective, it's great to meet people you admire, wanting to shake their hands, get a picture with them. But what's it like for you on the other end of it?
100% overwhelming.
Really?
Yeah. Especially for me, like I'm really friendly and I'm really social, but I have like severe social anxiety. So like,
it's funny. I've spoken to a lot of people and they kind of feel the exact same way.
And like when somebody comes up to you and like they're so enamored by you that they just like awkwardly stand there, and I'm already awkward in nature, so it's just like a huge awkward moment, and you're just like,
what do we do from here?
Yeah,
right?
like,
kind of
hello, and then they like want to shake my hand, and like at conventions, I don't really shake hands just because I don't want to get sick. 'Cause if I shake one person's hand, then I shake like 400 people's hands, then I get sick. So then it's like, how's your day? Like, well, I'm sitting at a table, you know?
Signing autographs, signing DVDs, what more do you want type of thing.
Right.
No, I get it though, but in this business, like we cover professional wrestling on the High Spot podcast, and I always compare it to the adult film industry, and my partner's like, well, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I'm explaining it this way, it's very highly competitive. And if people are really going out there and trying to make a name for themselves, especially in a business like pro wrestling, and I would assume the adult film industry, where it's like a revolving door. As soon as you walk in, there's somebody else walking out and somebody else trying to take your spot. Can you explain in terms of what it takes to keep yourself in the limelight so that people can still know your name?
Well, my strategy is a little bit different because I started 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So I still stick to like the old school policies, the old school strategy. Like, you know, you can be a freak in the sheets, but you know, we want to see a lady on the street. So I still live by the policy of like, look classy, be that girl that isn't wearing the skimpy lingerie. But basically, doing this for 8 years, you know, I started out solo, then girl, then boy, girl. I was a contract girl. I had several contracts. I think that the competition is extremely fierce now because like the days of like glamour porn or like featured films are kind of like they're kind of going away, and so now it's kind of like circus acts, like who can shove as many dicks in their ass as possible. And for girls like me, Kaden Cross, or like, you know, Riley Steele, like the like old school vintage like glamour girls, you know, can't really compete with that because we don't want to shove 3 dicks up our ass. So a lot of it is just, you know, keeping your name out there, you know, whether it's directing or, you know, your website. I think that the most valuable asset for a girl who isn't out there, you know, constantly doing showcases because you're not doing circus acts, have a really good PR team, you know, keep your name out there, feature dance, let your fans know that you're still there, and create new fans. So, but it is super competitive, you know.
It's so funny that like before we did this recording here, I was asking, do you have a business card? And when I really think about it, though, that's kind of an old school mentality to have, too, because when you really think about it, social media being so popular as it is right now, people have Twitter accounts, Instagrams, Facebooks, Snapchats, all stuff like that. Has that kind of now evolved where if you're going to walk into the business for the right reasons, you have that passion for it? Or in your case, you want to continually be in the mainstream. How vital is social media to brand the name Brett Rossi?
Well, social media is... Okay, I'm going to start by saying I hate social media. I feel like it doesn't matter. When I started, it was, you know, how many accolades you can achieve. You know, Penthouse Pet, Playboy Playmate, this and this, Contract Girl, whatever. Now, you don't even have to have accolades as long as you have 1 million followers that you probably purchased anyways. So another thing is, this generation of like performers, and this goes with like just regular modeling, the fitness world, you have to have a level of vanity that some of us girls just don't care to have. I know for one, I'm not on my Snapchat. I don't even use Snapchat. Not on my Instagram or my Twitter every single day. So I make each post memorable for people to want to come back. I don't have 1 million followers.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah, I don't have 1 million followers, but when you go on my Instagram, and you want to show your friends, you can look at it in public. You know what I mean? I try to have, key factors that separate me from the rest. My Twitter, my Instagram is very quirky. I always have funny things to say. And nowadays, people just, like I said, are on their phones 24/7, and between directing, feature dancing, traveling, performing full time, running my website, and then doing stand-up comedy and all this stuff, I don't have time to I probably myself have taken like 3 photos of this whole convention, and I'm terrible at it. It's just really, you have to set yourself apart from the rest, but nowadays, unfortunately, you have to fight even harder to be like, hey, look at me, I'm still important, even if you don't have 1 million followers. And I just want to say, all these girls with 1 million followers, they probably fucking bought them anyways, because if Jenna Jameson doesn't have 1 million followers, your shit don't have 1 million followers either.
Yeah, so it's a little shaky with that legitimacy of how many followers do you have?
That's what makes me so mad when people base their whole
you can buy
career.
followers, yeah.
Yeah, when people I can't tell you how many emails a day I get from these fucking companies offering this much for follow, this much for likes, and it's get the fuck out of here. I know my fans and the followers that I do have are really there for me. And another thing is, when these girls buy followers, they're buying it to look cool for other people, but what they don't realize is they're shooting themselves in the foot, because how are you going to promote and sell your product or your brand if 99% of who you're promoting and selling to are fake?
Yeah.
So it's all logic.
This woman, she knows it. She's smart up here. Not just beauty. It's beauty and brains. It's a deadly combination. In closing, though, you were just kind of talking about it. You have such a crazy schedule.
Yeah.
And I respect that once for the fact that I have a crazy schedule, but nothing compared to you. You have to travel. You have to go from place to place. I have to drive, and I hate being in a car for more than 3 hours. I hate being on a plane for more than 2. But you guys do it because it's part of the job and the lifestyle you guys have chosen. You were in the business, took a break for a while, came back. But at the same time, what do you do to, I guess, balance it out and also make sure there's time for you to unwind, because it can be overwhelming at times?
Right. I know for me personally, I just really take the time to not get too involved, especially I'm 28, and then being in the business for so long, it's really hard not to compare yourself to other girls. It's really hard, because even
That's good advice for everybody. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just follow your own path.
Because it at the end of the day, none of us compete. We're our own entity. But it can become a time where you do compare yourself. So I try really hard to make sure I take a break from filming, or I take a break from traveling or dancing, and really just spend time with what helps me feel good. I'm really into my horses. I have horses, so
oh wow, that's awesome.
All my off time is literally spent with my horses. And the best part about being with my horses and at the barn, I don't have cell phone service. So you really cut yourself off from emails, calls, social media, and you actually get to live in the moment. So that's the most important thing, is the society nowadays, for every genre of any industry, we're so
you have to unplug
locked
in.
And the only way to unplug is to have no service.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, I kind of get lost in the fantasy of being on a ranch or with horses and animals and quiet peacefulness. Not that this isn't great here at Exotica. Everybody seems to be pretty friendly and nice. I've been to conventions before. You have that type of feel and atmosphere. Well, I hope that after AVN, which we will be attending, correct?
Yeah, I'm actually signing for Fucking Awesome and Girls Way.
Oh, awesome. So hopefully you have a great time there. We're going to try to be down there too, so hopefully we can see you there as well.
Yeah.
But if not, then around that time you'll be able to take a break and enjoy that lovely... believe it or not, how funny it is, all right? We're in the adult film industry, and everybody wants to talk about fantasies and all these allure things of women and men and sexual positions. But that one thing you just said about, I want to go on a ranch, my horses, to be unplugged, that was just the best feeling I could ever have, and I got lost in the moment. So I thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for your time. And where can people find you besides on social media? What they can look forward to in the near future from you?
The best place you can find me is brettrossi.com. I run it, I edit it, I am completely involved with it. Yeah. I have great prices. If you don't want to be a member, I've got a store you can buy stuff. But that's where you can find me.
Are you highly critical of yourself when it comes to your own scenes and stuff like that?
Yeah, which is why I don't watch my own scenes. I look at my own photos simply because I need to make sure my body is where I want it to be. And I think it's important to be aware of your image on camera, but I try not to watch my scenes because, I don't know, it's like, I'm really outgoing, but I'm also really shy at the same time. And I'm like, oh, why did I suck his dick like that? Why did I think that was hot at that moment?
Yeah.
You know? So,
I get you.
Yeah, I think it's important to just don't look at that shit.
So in closing, I want to include Brett Rossi into an elite group. It's really easy. All you have to do is put your fingers like this, and don't worry, we won't touch. Put those 2 fingers up and a little tap. And now you are part of the Jersey Red Crew, which means we will support you, we will stand behind you, and we always have your back. So thank you so much.
Thank you.